imagine having to live the rest of your life having to use a wheelchair? Hello. Thank you for looking in on my YouTube. I'm really grateful. So, how you doing? The other day, I went to a family gathering. It was my wonderful brother-in-law, Javed's 50th birthday, and they booked a big table for a family gathering at a pizza restaurant. And anyway, when we arrived, there was a huge queue, lots of people all queuing up. But our family were already there. They'd already got their table. And so we shuffled in, and we had to push past all these people. And I felt a bit embarrassed, actually, that we were pushing past all these people queuing. And I was, oh, sorry, and all that. And anyway, there was, I remember distinctly, there was this little group of 4 people, family, and there was a mum and a dad and this young lady with blonde hair sitting in a wheelchair. And this young woman looked thoroughly fed up, you know. She looked really browned off. She looked like she had a sour lemon in her mouth and a really bad smell under her nose. You know, that kind of look on her face. And I thought, oh, I feel bad, you know, pushing past her, going into the restaurant like that. Anyway, we went in, and a few moments later, I saw this family group in that actually got a table. And I thought, do you know what, I'm going to go over and say, I hope you don't mind me pushing past you like that. I felt a bit bad. And, you know, because we had got this big family gathering and we'd already had a table booked, and I didn't want you thinking I was queue jumping. And the dad said, don't worry about it. You know, mate, that's fine. Not a problem at all. And I turned around and looked at the young woman in the wheelchair, and she was smiling away. She had lovely twinkly blue eyes, lots of blonde hair about her, and there was a lovely sense of aura, of vitality about her, positivity, and she seemed really nice, you know, and she seemed to have good humour about her, you know, and she said, well, I was upset. And I said, well, I hope it wasn't me. She said, no, it wasn't you. No, don't worry about that. And it was something else. I said, well, you can tell me, you know, it's all right. She said, well, the reason why some people don't realise what it's like to be in a wheelchair. And I thought, yeah, I bet. And I said, well, what was the problem then? He said, well, this young man had his bottom right in my face. And I thought, oh, no wonder you look so browned off. Oh, dear. Anyway, and I said, do you know what? There's something really vivacious about you, and you look really healthy. Are you a sports person? And Mum and Dad proudly told me that she is a basketball player she's part of the UK squad. So, you know, she's a teenager, but she's already made the UK squad for the UK team basketball. And she also plays wheelchair rugby as well. And I was so impressed. And, you know, I said, well done. And, you know, I said, look out for my YouTubes. Every opportunity, try and build up. Anyway, so that's about me, and I was really pleased to meet her and stuff like that. Anyway, later over the salad bar, I met her mum and dad, and they carried on explaining that Hayley, her name's Hayley Cassin, lovely girl, young woman. She very nearly died at birth. She was born premature, only £2, and she had a lot of illnesses and struggled, but even as a baby, really had positivity to keep going and to survive. And I forgot to mention that Hayley said to me, you know, I'm not disabled, you know, but I'm differently abled. And I really like that. And it's a really nice thing that to say, really positive. But she did say that to me. I forgot to mention it earlier, that Haley said, "Do you know what? I'm not disabled, but I'm positively abled, and I really do enjoy sport." And it turns out that when she was at school, her mum explained that she was bullied, and people didn't really understand at all her perception of what it's like to live in a wheelchair. And she faced discrimination, lack of understanding, and simple and plain horrible bullying because of disability, and that's so bad, isn't it? So for a while she was homeschooled, but she's now attending an absolutely brilliant school, and she's doing so well. And she joined the Sheffield Steelers, and that was a massive turning point because sport really has enabled her to enjoy life and get a lot of satisfaction. And she is somebody, you know. And Haley now, mum and dad explained, she raises a lot of money for charity. She's an ambassador for various charities, in particular the Variety Children's Charity, and she helped raise hundreds of thousands of pounds, and I think that's fantastic. She's a brilliant sportswoman, so brilliant. She's gone from strength to strength. She does swimming as well, and she's done community work with for a Sheffield council promoting sport, and sport really has been her salvation, and I think it's fantastic. So all credit to you, Haley, and I just want to say something. Thank you, Haley, for being so amazing. You know, absolutely wonderful and fantastic. So do you know what? I think every single school in the UK should have a wheelchair like that, and every day it should be used, this wheelchair. A child should go in there to experience what it's like to live a day in a wheelchair and experience what it actually feels like to have to live in a wheelchair. So I think there should be a rota, and that every child at the school should have an opportunity to spend a day in the wheelchair. Don't you agree? If you agree, please give me a lovely thumbs up. Spread this YouTube to your friends and spread the word that every child should spend a day in a wheelchair. I'm sure it's not difficult to organise and to have a wheelchair in every school. And at least once or twice in their life, everybody should experience what it's like to have to live a day in a wheelchair. Anyway, thank you so much for looking in at my YouTube. Do have a look at the other ones. Do subscribe, and please support my campaign for people learning what it's like to have to live in a wheelchair, to empathise. We need more empathy in society and more understanding of how things are. And let's adopt the phrase, Haley's phrase, of it's not disabled, it's differently abled. Because, you know, people might have disabilities, but often they have wonderful skills in other things. You know, people who are partially sighted often have incredible other senses of hearing, of smell and things like that. I've met people with autism that are fantastic artists and things like that, and they have incredible other values and skills such as of honesty and integrity. So, as Haley says, not disabled, but differently abled. And please support my campaign for people to spend a day, at least once in their life, in a wheelchair, to learn, to understand, to empathise how it is to be differently abled. Thank you for watching. Cheerio. Bye-bye.